All right, let's talk about that three-digit number that holds so much power over our financial lives, your credit score. You know the one. It can feel like it either opens doors for you or just slams them shut. But what does it really say about you? Let's dive in and decode it.
You've seen it everywhere, right? When you apply for a loan, a credit card, even just to rent an apartment. And you can't help but wonder, what is this number actually saying about me? Is it grading my whole life up to this point? Is it a measure of my character? That's the big question we're going to get to the bottom of.
Okay, so let's just get this out of the way right now. The biggest misconception is that this score is somehow measuring how much money you have or if you're a good person. The reality, it's way, way simpler than that. It's only designed to do one thing: predict one single thing you might do in the future.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll look at what that three-digit number even is. Then we'll see how it's used to predict things. We'll peek at the recipe they use to calculate it, cover what it doesn't measure, which is super important, and finally, tie it all together to see why this stuff matters.
All right, let's jump into the single most important idea here. And if you remember one thing, make it this. A credit score is not a report card on your past. It's a crystal ball. Its whole job is to look into the future, not to grade what you've already done.
So what exactly is it trying to forecast? It's actually super specific. It's just predicting the likelihood, the chance, that you're going to pay your bills on time in the future. That's literally it. It's just a statistical guess based on your past habits about what you'll do next.
Yeah, this quote right here just says it all, doesn't it? A credit score isn't a measure of your financial worth, it's a forecast of your future financial behavior. I mean, once you really let that sink in, it changes everything. It stops being this heavy personal judgment. It becomes what it is, just an impersonal calculation. And from a lender's point of view, this all comes down to one simple word: risk. That's it. If you have a high score, say you're up in the 800s, you look like a lower risk. If your score is down below 600, you look like a higher risk. It's not personal, they're just playing the odds.
Okay, so if it's all just a prediction, how in the world do they calculate it? What's actually in that secret formula? Let's take a look.
Well, the first thing to know is that the exact formulas are basically top secret. Think of it like the recipe for Coke. Companies like FICO aren't just going to hand it over. But, and this is the important part, even though we don't know the exact measurements, we know all the main ingredients that go into it.
And here are those ingredients, broken down by how much they matter. Just look at that huge slice for payment history. That's the big one, by a long shot. The next biggest piece of the pie is amounts owed. Get this, just those two things together make up almost 2/3 of your score. The other three, how long you've had credit, any new credit, and your credit mix, they matter, but they're much smaller pieces.
So let's just quickly run through what these mean in plain English. Payment history is just, do you pay your bills on time? Amounts owed is how much of your available credit are you actually using? Linked of history, pretty simple. How long have your accounts been around? Credit mix means, do you have different kinds of credit, like cards and loans? And new credit is just, how often are you trying to open new accounts?
All right, now for the part that honestly surprises a lot of people. We've talked about what goes into your score, but what's left out is just as important, if not more so.
Seriously, take a look at this list. How much money you make? Nope, not in your score. The balance in your savings account? Doesn't count. And then there's the stuff that's excluded by law, like your age, your race, your gender, marital status. None of that is in there. Even your employment history isn't a direct factor.
Think about what that means for a second. You could literally be a millionaire and have a horrible credit score if you're just not great at paying your bills on time. And on the flip side, someone with a pretty modest income can have a fantastic score just by being responsible. It hammers home the point. The score is about how you handle debt, not how much wealth you have.
Okay, so we've taken this thing apart, we've seen what it is, how it's calculated, and what it completely ignores. But why does any of this matter? Well, it's simple. When you understand how the machine works, you're the one in the driver's seat. It takes the mystery and the anxiety out of it and gives you the power to do something about it.
In this table really sums up that change in mindset. The old way of thinking is that your score is some kind of grade on your past, or worse, a judgment of you as a person. The new way, the empowered way, is to see it for what it is, a tool that's trying to predict the future based on your habits. And the best part? Habits are things you can actually change. At the end of the day, it's so important to remember this. Your credit score is just one part of your financial story. It's like one chapter in a really long book. Yeah, it's an important chapter for sure, but it is not the whole book.
So I'll leave you with this to think about.
Now that you know your score isn't some deep, personal judgment, but it's really just an impersonal prediction based on a few specific things, how does that change the way you look at that 3-digit number? Thanks for watching.